Well, good evening, everybody. Welcome to the 2026 WIU Signing Day Special broadcast here live on YouTube. I'm BJ Stone, joined by Joe Davis, the head coach of the Western Illinois University Leathernecks, starting year number 3. And year number 3 basically started the day that the season number 2 ended, right?
Amen. I tell you what, time flies, and really as we talk about the prospects that we've signed today, the student athletes that we've brought here to Macomb, boy, what a lot of work and what a lot of due diligence done by our staff, by this community, by our sponsors. And so really, really proud to talk about some of these young men tonight, and certainly what a great crowd on hand here to celebrate with us tonight.
We're at the Sports Corner downtown Macomb. Come on out and join us if you'd like. And while we're here, we're going to talk to special teams coach Josh Caraway. He's also your recruiting coordinator. A couple of players are here tonight, and we'll chat with you, Joe, about several items. One of those I wanted to ask you about is with the changing landscape of college football. I mean, it's like the Wild West out there right now. Guys are moving left and right, sometimes twice in a year. How much has it changed from 3 years ago? Is it still fun? Is it still something that is a blast to recruit?
Well, I would answer the latter part of your question saying that it is fun. I think I would echo the sentiment of our staff saying that when our feet hit the floor every day, we're excited for an opportunity to grow our program, to advance our program. We're extremely excited about the current student athletes that we have in the program and the young men that will be joining us here over the next several months from the high school ranks. But in all honesty, BJ, I don't think that any coach, particularly at the Division I level, would tell you that they're real happy with the state of college football right now. The game, as it takes place on the field, is as good as ever.
Right.
There's parity, there's talent, there's competition, but the guardrails, the lack thereof guardrails, so to speak, I think are hurting the game. And, I've challenged players in my office, BJ, saying, this is your third or fourth or many times fifth school. Who's advocating for you when you graduate? Are you actually going to graduate?
Right.
Who are your best friends? Who are the coaches that you call mentors? And I think those are some of the things that are getting lost in all this transfer portal madness and the windows and the NIL money. All that being said, we continually are finding what works for Western, and we are not going to complain about it. We are going to figure out what works for our program, for our players, for our coaches. We're going to attack it with an incredible enthusiasm and bring the best people and the best players here to campus.
Well, and I think a lot of that, and particularly the FCS level that we're in, student is still ahead of athlete and not as the other way around as it is in some places.
Yeah, there's no doubt about it. And listen, I recruit this. I tell this to our current student athletes. I tell it to parents. We are an academic-based program. I brag on this all the time. We've had 3 consecutive semesters of the highest GPA in over a decade within this football program. We finished this fall with a 3.06 team GPA. It's excellent by Division I standards. And our APR score that we had in the 2025 year, 958, the highest in the history of Western Illinois football. That's an NCAA metric that they use for graduation rates and GPA and retention and things like that. So very, very proud of how far we've come academically, and I'm never going back. That's not going to change.
When you used to recruit, you were looking at 2 definitive groups, high school, JUCO transfers at this level. Now you've added a third with the transfer portal. How do you organize how you're going to go about recruiting with this 3-headed monster?
Well, first and foremost, it takes great people, and Coach Caraway, who you'll get a chance to talk to today, leads our recruiting efforts. We have an excellent staff, with our on-field coaching staff and our off-field support team. I mean, there's 20-some people that are working daily to try to improve our roster, player acquisition, player retention. And so it starts with people. It starts with the identification of the right prospects that fit our program from an academic standpoint, from a character standpoint, and then certainly the football talent, the size, the speed, all those metrics, that we use to judge players. So our staff has done an incredible job, and we continue to learn the landscape, and we continue to evolve and try to see, hey, we may have made a mistake in year 2. We don't want to make that mistake again. Hey, we learned from year 1. We want to improve upon this process here in year 3, and we certainly have done that thus far.
I'm kind of a character guy. I love it when the guys are good to people in the community, and I know you do as well. And riding on the bus and the road trips, it's just awesome to see the kids interact with others. They never embarrass the university. They never embarrass themselves. They don't embarrass the coaches. It's just a good bunch of people, and that's important to you.
It's very, very important, and I think that every head coach at college football would echo that. I tell our team all the time, if you want to grow this brotherhood, you want to grow this community, you want to build continuity within our football family, then you need to go serve somebody other than yourselves together. And Brandon Kretschmer, our associate head coach, who's a Western alum, really spearheads our community service efforts. I think we'd had 658 hours of community service last spring and summer as a football program, everything from going to the elementary schools to doing community cleanups to going to nursing homes to going to the community pool. Our guys are very, very involved. We did our first community service event as a program last Friday. We had 40 guys there serving over at St. Paul's School. So that's a huge part of our program, and I think we, as coaches, have a responsibility to teach these players how to serve. And I think, these guys will look back very, very fondly on their opportunities to serve somebody other than themselves. Obviously a massive part of what we're doing here.
And as we talk about recruiting, and we'll have Josh Caraway, the recruiting coordinator, join us here in a little bit. As we talk about recruiting, the schedule can play a part in recruiting. Last year, 2 Big Ten teams gave the kids an opportunity to play games in Big Ten stadiums and an NFL stadium with Tennessee State.
Right.
And then this year, again, another Big Ten school on the schedule. How much does that play into your decision-making when it comes time to help make a schedule?
Yeah, well, absolutely. When we're evaluating the football component of these players, I mean, in the back of your mind, it's, hey, can these guys line up against Wisconsin? We've got Oklahoma State on the schedule. We've got Purdue coming on the schedule, another Big Ten team. So that physical component is certainly important to us. You mentioned the schedule. Really have worked hard with our athletic director, Paul Bubb, into making this year's schedule. This is really the first time in my tenure that I've had a little bit of a hand in the schedule. Certainly these things are done many, many years in advance. And, to have back-to-back home games to open our season at Hanson Field this fall, massive selling point in recruiting. Certainly our players are excited about that. I would be remiss if I wasn't excited about only having one FBS game. We've had 4 in my first 2 years here, and those are tough. It's a son of a gun, man, just from a morale standpoint to get your season started off the way that you want to. So this schedule this fall, while certainly challenging, I think is going to present a very, very realistic opportunity for our program to gain some positive momentum headed into conference play.
And one of those non-conference games you mentioned, I don't want to make you upset, but I'm going to say the name. Illinois State's coming in. They just had an amazing run in the playoffs, and the Leathernecks have a chance to knock a little chip off the shoulder maybe next fall.
Yeah, well, hey, listen, we have a lot of respect for Illinois State. Always have, always will. I'm very well aware of the unbelievable tradition of rivalry games that have occurred between Illinois State and Western Illinois over the years, and have been reminded many times by our alums that Western Illinois used to beat the snot out of those guys consistently. So we want to get back to being very, very competitive with Illinois State. We are going to play home and home with them just about every other year on the even years on our schedule that's set for some time. I go back to 2024, my first season, week 3, we're on the road at Illinois State, and it's a 28-24 game in the third quarter, and we end up having over 500 yards of offense and 35 points and came up short that day. But we're very well aware of the season they had and the challenge that they present, and we'll be ready when that game comes around.
And then the last thing, turning back around then, talking about Illinois State as a potential foe, going back to the recruiting footprint. You talked about this last year. You want to establish a footprint. Illinois, a big part of that. Get some home state kids to come and play for Western Illinois.
Boy, BJ, what a massive emphasis for us as a staff. And I probably have frustrated our coaches at times that may have found players in other states that they thought highly of or had built relationships with. And I've sort of dug my heels in and said, we are going to focus here in the land of Lincoln. There is excellent high school football. I truly believe that Chicagoland possesses some of the best high school football, certainly in the Midwest, if not the country. And, you could go down the list in the past 2 or 3 decades of Illinois kids that have come to Western and been exceedingly successful in the classroom and on the field. And so we want to get back to that. I was hired here with 22 or 23 Illinois kids on the roster. We've almost tripled that. this year's recruiting class. I think of the 17 young men that have signed scholarship agreements in the high school class of 2026. Josh is going to touch on these numbers a little more thoroughly than I will, but 10 or 11 of them are Illinois kids. 8 or 9 of them are on various all-state lists. And, so we've really pounded the pavement in this state. It matters to me. It matters to our coaches. And certainly the high school coaches throughout the state have noticed that. And we want to continue to pour fuel on that fire and recruit our home state.
Well, now that we're finally in February after that 62-day-long January in this cold winter,
Sure.
You get on the field pretty soon with spring football. I know you're charged up about that. When does that all get underway? And can the fans come and watch the team in the spring?
Yeah, absolutely. So, we're going to have a fairly traditional spring practice schedule. We will start on March 24th. It'll take us all the way to April 25th, which is a Saturday. We're kind of doing the spring game a little bit differently this year in terms of having it on a Saturday. But, yeah, we're going to use all 15 practices in some way, shape, or form. Right, wrong, or indifferent. There's 39 new players here at the mid-year on our roster. And so we got a lot of work to do, and we really break this offseason down into two basically 8-week segments. We're in the first kind of quadrant of that right now, and we're very focused on the weight room. We're very focused on building connection with our team right now, new players, returning players. And then we'll move into some field work here as we get into the latter parts of February and early March. We'll break for spring break. And then we'll come back and put the ball down, man, and see who can play some football. We're really, really excited about that. And just the early indications of some of our new players, I'm excited about our team speed. We've really improved this roster when it comes to the skill positions at wide receiver and running back. We had a fastest man competition this morning that I think there was a trail of smoke, coming out of Brophy Hall, man, with the new defensive backs and new wide receivers. And I think it's going to continue to bring an exciting brand of football to Hanson Field this fall. Excited about these guys. But like I mentioned, certainly a lot of work to do before then.
Well, we're excited about it. We thank you for taking time with us tonight. We'll chat with Coach Davis before the end of the night. We'll get him back up here again. But right now I think we're going to take a quick timeout. When we come back, recruiting coordinator Josh Carraway, also the special teams coach for the Leathernecks, will join us here at the table, and we'll get more specific about some of these guys that are coming in to strap on the white helmets and the purple and gold of Western Illinois. We'll be right back.
Hey, you'll find your school.
I just want to find a place where I can be myself. I want to try new things. I want to find my people. I want to make a difference. I want to have a place to grow, to make mistakes, to learn new things. And I want to do college on my own terms.
Western has taught me how to network. It's taught me how to make connections with people outside of the classroom and inside the classroom. It's just taught me to use all of my resources to the fullest extent.
To be a first-generation student, it's really important because you're the one setting the blueprint for the rest of your generations and the kids to come. So I'm gonna do as much as I can to better myself and get a degree.
Being able to intern in the university's marketing department for the last 2 years, I've really enjoyed it a lot because I work with some great people and I'm able to help out with anything when it comes to social media, making graphics, or anything else that they have.
Welcome back to our spring recruiting special live on YouTube here from the Sports Corner in downtown Macomb. I'm BJ Stone, the radio play-by-play voice of the Leathernecks. Josh Carraway is the special teams coach and also the recruiting coordinator. And I have a list of all the names of all these guys that are coming to this school, and it is a huge list, Josh. Great job. Congratulations.
I mean, all December, all January, transfer portal, high school, our staff has been busy. So you could say that's me, but really that's all of our staff really combing over the entire state. And it's not something that just happens in the past 2 months. It's something that we've been building for literally the last year, BJ.
We talked, Joe and I talked earlier about the three-headed monster that recruiting has become. You've got to pay attention to high school. You've got to pay attention to JUCO transfers at this level. And then you have the portal, and players can come from above or from below moving up. And how do you organize all that on a daily basis and know where you're at and who you've got?
Well, I think the baseline is always going to be high school recruiting. That's where your culture's built. You're going to be able to get the right type of guys that's going to fit your program. And regardless of where you're going to be at, that's always going to be the future right there. But obviously, when we look at the transfer portal, you're going to look for immediate ads that are going to help you on the field that fall. And truly, it's not like we sit there with a board and say, well, we need to have this many players from FBS, this many players from FCS. It's truly, what is a Western man and what is the right fit for our system? I know that as far as this past portal cycle, we signed 10 Division I guys, 8 of those being from other FCS schools, and then 2 from FBS schools right there. And that was just during the recruiting process. We get them on the phone. We obviously do visits where they come to campus. They meet our staff. They meet Coach Davis. They see what we're doing here in Macomb. We eat dinner here at Sports Corner, and they ultimately see that's something that they want to be a part of. In my previous experience here, we've seen a lot of success with those guys that are Division II guys and Division III guys that may have a chip on their shoulder. You know,
right.
Maybe they got overlooked in the recruiting processes when they were coming out of high school, and they've been super successful here at the Division I level. So regardless of whether it's a guy coming up or maybe you've got a guy, I know we were talking about Nick Reinecke coming from Iowa State. Played a lot on special teams, man, which me as a special teams coordinator, I love that. But wants to play a little bit more on the defensive side of the ball, and he's got that opportunity now with the Leathernecks.
Well, and you talk about the lower division guys, a little work, a lot of heart, a lot of effort. They can make it at this level.
Oh, absolutely. Talking about guys from the past, but even on our first year in 2024, Matt Henry, who was an All-American for us that year, was a Division II guy, and a lot of people forget about that.
And Matt played an amazing season here and then had 120 yards in a bowl game for Western Kentucky.
Exactly.
Crazy.
And, you know, that's just where we're at with college football right now, obviously. And, you know, I think that's a huge compliment to our staff if we can ID those guys who can truly do it there on the field and be able to come here and to make a home here at Western Illinois. The biggest thing is we obviously want our guys graduating, but ultimately if we can help these guys, again, many of them have dreams of going to the NFL and being able to achieve that type of success. I'm very thankful to play a role in that, any young man's life, especially if that takes place a couple years here in Macomb, for sure.
Well, you've got high school, you've got JUCO, you've got portal kids, 40 new names coming in, plus some preferred walk-ons moving into campus. Everybody says, wow, what are you going to, where are you going to have them all? Well, the truth of the matter is some of the guys left, too, so you're always looking to fill positions. And some of those guys went to what they hope for them will be better opportunities.
Correct. That's one thing that I even like to study is just the transfer portal numbers. And as the recruiting coordinator, I can go look and see who's getting in and who's being signed. This past cycle from December through January, 11,000 NCAA football players hit the portal, BJ, over 11,000. And it's been about a week since I've checked because school started for us. We're
right.
training. I was on the road, even looking at some class of 2027 guys. But last time I checked, there were still around 5,000 plus players from the portal who had not found places yet. And so while you hear tons of success stories of guys being able to get new spots, to be able to land at new schools, and we certainly love that for those guys, the true reality is that a lot of guys don't find spots. And again, I don't think the portal's necessarily good or bad. It's just a tool, and it's how you use that. I just wish there was more education, both from the institution piece and the student-athlete piece before guys go ahead and hop in.
Well, that's one of the things I talked to Joe about before, and I was going to ask you when we get him back up here later. I'll ask you the same. I've heard suggestions of how they could make it a little bit better. Do you think that it's going to stay this way for a long time, or is the NCAA looking already to make adjustments in how this portal is working?
I certainly don't think that the transfer portal per se is going anywhere. This was the first year where they changed from having 2 portal windows to 1 window, which made it a complete mad scramble there in January.
Right.
How are you going to enter the portal, trip the schools that are interested in you, sign on the dotted line, and be enrolled, find housing, all of those things in a matter of, 2 to 3 weeks? It's a really tight window. I don't think that's going anywhere because everyone wants the regular season and, for the most part, bowl season to be concluded by the time that the portal opens. However, what I do see maybe changing, BJ, is maybe the number of times you're allowed to transfer. Right now, there are unlimited transfer years. Hypothetically, if there's one window per year, a guy could be at 5 different schools during his collegiate career. So it's perpetual free agency at the moment. So I'm not looking into my crystal ball or anything, but if I had to take my guess, I would say that the people in charge over at the NCAA might be working towards some type of legislation where maybe it's you get one freebie, but after that you might have to sit for a little bit, or maybe this transfer for this reason. Don't quite know what that answer is yet, but one thing that I know for sure is that this recruiting coordinator is not mad about it because there are more good players available than there's ever been.
All right. Great to see you as always.
Yes, sir.
Looking excited, very excited to look and see these guys on the field this spring. And we thank you for taking time to join us here tonight. That's Josh Caraway. He is the recruiting coordinator, special teams coach for Western Illinois University. We got a couple of players coming on next. We'll introduce those guys to you when we return to the spring sign-up recruiting special here at the Sports Corner in Macomb. Stick around.
My name is Kiana Cruz. I am a business marketing major, and I'm from Bonner Springs, Kansas.
I am Amelia Wilson, and I am a musical theater major, and I am from Mount Carroll, Illinois.
My name is Tate Fullerton. I'm from Mount Sterling, Illinois, and I'm a nursing major here at Western Illinois University.
Donor support here at Western has definitely helped a lot of small things that I see changing, things such as our locker room that's getting redone. I think that that's pretty awesome, especially when we have recruits coming in, and it's just another cherry on top as to why Western is so great is because we have donors that care and help support us.
Donors have impacted my experience here by supporting things like the summer stage and the fine arts. My experience in Newsies this summer was one of the best experiences I've ever had here. I was doing what I love. I was getting experience, acting experience.
Being able to be hands-on with new equipment and have scholarships to both aid and help support us moving forward in the program are very beneficial.
Because of gifts like yours, I'm able to excel both athletically and academically.
Because of gifts like yours, I'm able to shine on the stage and in the classroom.
Because of gifts like yours, I'm getting the hands-on experience I need for a successful career.
Welcome back to the Western Illinois Signing Show, the special event that we are doing for the second straight year from the Sports Corner in downtown Macomb. I'm BJ Stone, joined by linebacker Justin Buckner from the Leathernecks All-Conference as a freshman last year, wearing number 44, but switching it up this year. What are we going to see you in this fall?
Oh, we're going to see me in number 11 this year, something I'm going back to my hometown, St. Rita, and I picked number 11 because that's what one of my coaches, he gave it to me, and I just want to stick with it.
So number 11
yes, sir.
will be hunting quarterbacks this fall
yes, sir,
for
definitely.
the Leathernecks. Now, you said you grew up in the Tinley Park area, south side of Chicago.
Yep.
What about Western attracted you?
Western, in fact, a big impact on me because actually one of my family friends actually went here, and he said it was going to be a great fit. And I talked to a lot of my coaches and my family members, and they just said, stick with Western and just play here and just do your best and just do everything you can, you know.
I remember kind of a breakout game you had at Tennessee State, right?
Oh, yeah.
How cool was it to play in an NFL stadium like that?
Oh, man, it was amazing to play in that because, you know, that's ever since a kid you want to play in a stadium like that, and right now you want to keep going on and playing at that level.
What do you think coming forth this fall for the Leathernecks? What can we expect out of the team?
Out of the team, you're going to see a lot. You're going to see a good chemistry this year, especially even though we got a lot of transfers coming in and new kids coming in. We do a lot of team events, like, you know, like Coach always wants us going to do different things together and just connecting as a team. Like coming up, we're watching the Super Bowl all together, and it's going to be amazing.
Last year when the season started, Landon Fox was named the defensive coordinator, the coach of the defense, and you guys really the second half of the season had one of the better defenses in the league as far as allowing points. You didn't allow very many.
Oh, yeah.
What are the goals going into games? I mean, you guys talk about that, points, yards. What do you look at?
Oh yeah. So definitely, we were starting off with a 4-3 at the beginning of the year, and we switched over to a 3-4, and that was a big thing that coach wanted us to just do, and it was a great switch. Personally, I think it was a great switch, and Coach Fox, he actually recruited me over when he was at Velpo, and when he came to Western, I knew I wanted to play for him. So he's going to be hard on you for sure, but man, he's an amazing defensive coordinator. But,
all right, you got 3 plays, a sack, an interception, or you light up a running back with a big hit. What's your favorite of the 3?
Man, of course you want to get an interception, but laying a pipe on a running back, that's what you want to do for sure.
That's a linebacker mentality right there.
Oh, yeah, definitely. Yes, sir.
Well, we appreciate you taking time. Looking forward to you wearing the double ones this year.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Number 11, Justin Buckner. You're going to love him, folks.
Yes, sir.
He's a great young linebacker and a great young man. We appreciate your time.
Appreciate talking to you. Thank you.
You bet. We'll be back with more. We've got Christian and I, one of the wide receivers, on the way next from the Sports Corner in Macomb.
Grit. It's that thing inside of you that ignites passion and empowers you to envision a world full of possibility. At Western Illinois University, leathernecks are made with this grit. It starts here, in this field, in this room, on this court, and in this lab. We refuse to blend in because our purple stands out.
So my dream job is to be a speech pathologist in my hometown. Whenever we have a child or adult and they come in for speech services, it's just a good benefit to have for those families who do need speech services and their kids who also need it.
I'm a transfer student. I met people who are transferring, and we all connected real quick about our experience. And my RA helped me a lot as well. He showed me where to go on campus. He showed me his friend group as well, and it made it really smooth for me.
Being a first-generational student means that the people that comes after me, my little cousins, my nieces, nephews, they'll all be looking up to me like, okay, if she can do it, I can do it too.
Welcome back in, YouTube Live and the broadcast from the Sports Corner in downtown Macomb, our signing day special. I'm BJ Stone, and I now have one of the wideouts from the Leathernecks offense with me. Christian Anaya has joined us here at the table. Christian, great season last year. I know it got cut a little bit short for you, and you didn't like that.
No, not at all.
And you're back to health and ready to go?
Yes, sir. Fully cleared, ready to go. Been training every day with the boys, so I'm excited for the season.
So you're from the Phoenix area, Chandler, Arizona.
Yes, sir.
And you find Western Illinois. How did that happen?
Well, Coach Davis and Coach Jeffrey gave me a shot out of the portal from Montana State, and ever since then, I'm running with it, and I really appreciate that, and just doing everything I can.
What do you think of Macomb? Do you like the campus? You like the town? Is it?
Yeah, I love the people, love the town. Good vibes always. Everyone's always so cheerful and helpful for the team and the school, the staff, everyone.
You can be honest. How are the winters?
Oh, they suck, all right. They're cold, very cold, big difference, but got a little bit used to it in Montana, but still pretty cold.
Yeah, I love it, man. I don't love the winter. I love the fact that you're honest about it, right?
Yes, sir, yeah.
But come spring now, it's beautiful.
Yeah.
And you've got a spring football season coming up. You're very excited. You have some new guys coming in to try to challenge you. Are you ready for that?
Yeah, I'm ready for it. Just compete every day with the new guys. Honestly, it pushes me to be better. I push them to be better, offense and defense, both sides of the ball, so I'm ready to really compete.
I think this year you're probably transitioning from student to the older receivers to being one of the guys that teaches the younger receivers as a leader on the team. Is that something you're looking forward to?
Yeah, yes, sir. Obviously, I got a little more years on me. I got more techniques, different skills I could be teaching the younger guys, and they could always teach me some new stuff. Obviously, I'm open to learning always. So, yeah, I'm very excited.
You've had to play, or you've gotten to play with some great quarterbacks in the last 2 years. Urban, Lamb, and Carswell. What's it like to catch passes from those guys?
It's awesome. It's honestly awesome. Love those guys. They throw a great ball. I was always really close with all three of them. Still am, and I love them all. Can't wait to ball this year with Kaysen.
When you see who's coming in and when you know who's coming back from last year and you know the coaching staff, obviously, What are the high-end goals for this team this coming fall?
Championship. That's it. Need a championship here and bring one to Macomb. That's what the school needs. That's what the team needs. That's what we need. It's what we're striving for every day. 5 a.m. this morning, running in Brophy Hall for that reason with the boys.
Well, we're looking forward to seeing you back out there again. Big year, 100 catches maybe?
Yeah, of course. More.
More?
Yes, sir.
I love it. Christian and I, wide receiver for the Leathernecks, joining us here, and he will be the guy wearing number 13 this fall, and you'll be able to watch him in action at Hanson Field, well, sooner than we think. It'll be right around the corner, right? All right, we'll take another break. When we come back, we're going to get Coach Joe Davis back up here and have him answer a few more questions. This is the Signing Day special, and you are watching it live on YouTube. We appreciate you for doing that. We'll be right back.
Hey, you'll find your school.
I just want to find a place where I can be myself. I want to try new things. I want to find my people. I want to make a difference. I want to have a place to grow, to make mistakes, to learn new things. And I want to do college on my own terms.
Western has taught me how to network. It's taught me how to make connections with people outside of the classroom and inside the classroom. It's just taught me to use all of my resources to the fullest extent.
To be a first-generation student, it's really important because you're the one setting the blueprint for the rest of your generations and the kids to come. So I'm gonna do as much as I can to better myself and get a degree.
Being able to intern in the university's marketing department for the last 2 years, I've really enjoyed it a lot because I work with some great people and I'm able to help out with anything when it comes to social media, making graphics, or anything else that they have.
Welcome back to our Signing Day special from the Sports Corner in downtown Macomb. If you're in the Sports Corner anytime, you usually run into somebody from Western Illinois and somebody from the football team in here, so stop in and see them quite often. I'm BJ Stone, and we've got Coach Joe Davis back at the table with us. And Coach, before we get specifics on some of these guys that are on the list, I wanted to ask you, Josh and I were talking briefly about potential changes down the road to the portal. Maybe one transfer, and then you have to sit out a year if you make a second transfer. One option I've heard is one transfer, and that's it, unless the coach that brought you in leaves. Are these viable options to what's going on now? Would it make it better?
Yeah, I think so. I mean, the biggest positive, I'm sure Josh would echo this or did echo this, is going to one portal window. Certainly as the head coach, this portal window, being in early January, allowed us to set the team for the year.
Right.
And was really a gripe of mine, BJ, in prior years that, we would invest a lot of resources in these players through the months of January and February and March and April, and we go through spring practice and we're designing our systems around these players at times only to have them go into a spring portal window. And, I'm not bashful to say I still take it personally. I want everybody to stay at Western. I want everybody to have a positive experience. I want the opportunity to develop all these young men at a high level. And so when they leave, it still stings me. I'm still not used to it all the way. But having this one window, we've got approximately 85, 86 guys with the team right now. Allows us to progress through the spring and watch a player grow. Certainly on practice 1 or 2 in late March, we expect development by practice 14 or 15.
Right.
We expect further development when we have them in the summer here for training. And then obviously when we get into training camp, we prepare for the season and start to set that depth chart. So the one portal window, huge positive, big fan of it. I think it's too long. We had a couple situations this year, BJ, where when our season ended around Thanksgiving, we had some players that at that point had made the decision to go in the portal. We had also made the decision to move on from some players. But we had, a chunk of guys that told us they were coming back once they got home for Christmas, and agents start to contact them, and uncles and aunts and grandpas that tell them that they can get this, that, and the other. It becomes very cloudy for a young man. It becomes very confusing for that particular student athlete, and we no longer have that guy with us every day. So certainly some glitches still to work through. Would love it to go back to a one transfer. You had mentioned that. Boy, I don't know how you put the toothpaste back in the tube, from what's happened now. There has to be some guardrails. There has to be some parameters set forth. When, how, who that will happen, I don't know. But I do think it's a positive step moving into this one window and allowing us to set the team for the year.
And you mentioned agents, and I don't want to disparage an entire profession, but that was the difference between college and pro for decades. No agents. Wouldn't it be nice to go back to that, perhaps? Because there's plenty of pro guys they can represent.
Well, I couldn't agree more. And you and I came up in an age where, if you could not sign with an agent, you could not sign with representation until your eligibility was up, or you had determined that you were going to enter the professional ranks, whatever sport you were. There also was a very strict certification process for these agents, where now you don't know. Are they certified? Is it some guy working from his mom's basement? Is a guy claiming to be certified, but he's not? Again, another wrinkle of confusion for the student athletes. These young men are already trying to sort through enough in today's world of being a student athlete, and now we continue to cloud the picture for them. So I'm not a fan of it. I don't like that aspect of it. I mentioned off the air, Montana's head football coach Bobby Hauck steps down today, a guy that was just in the Final Four, had run a very successful program at Montana in 2 different stints, and in his press conference today said that this era of football was not what he signed up for. It was no longer enjoyable to him, and the agents and the transfer portal and the transactional component was very frustrating. So I'm not to that point yet, but I certainly share some of his sentiments. I would say this too, BJ, and this is something I'm really proud of, and you just got a chance to talk to 2 of our finest young men on our team. We were able to retain really well. We really were, and probably of all the transfers and the high school prospects, while we're certainly proud of these guys, I'm most proud of our staff's ability to retain, the core of our roster. We have 20 players coming back that have started a game at Western. In today's day and age, boy, that's really, really difficult to do. Christian Anaya, before he gets hurt, was leading the OVC in receptions, and breaks his collarbone on homecoming against Charleston Southern. Justin Buckner, from St. Rita High School, ends up being an honorable mention all-conference linebacker as a true freshman. Certainly, a lot of folks have asked me about, Kason Carswell, our starting quarterback, the OVC Freshman of the Year. Boy, today's world of college football certainly told these young men to transfer. Right. Hey, try your hand at a higher level or bigger program, and really credit to these players to see and believe in what we're building here, and to keep these guys coming back, the nucleus, the core of our team. I'm really excited for them.
Well, and then when you do that, when you bring in a new class, you're just adding competition, and you've got leaders on the team that can help teach these guys what the game is all about, right?
Absolutely. Well, there's standards, right? I mean, there's expectations. There's a process to how we do things. When you sign new players that are coming from all over the country, which we did, trying to find their footing in the classroom and in the weight room and in the locker room and on campus. Boy, you have some guys here that are able to step up and say, hey, here's how we do things. And, here's what we accept. Here's what we don't tolerate in this program. And boy, as the head coach, that's just a fundamental belief of mine, man, that the great programs are player-driven. They're not coach-driven, and so we have some of those guys. We have some leaders on this team. Some of them still young by college football standards, but you just got a chance to talk to 2 of our toughest players, and and two guys that we're really going to be leaning on big time this fall for big seasons.
And you can just tell in 4 minutes talking with them what great kids they are. Just
absolutely.
top notch.
Yeah, well, and cool stories too. You know, I mean, Christian and I, ironically, had signed with Montana State, the national champions out of high school, had gone there, didn't see the playing time that he wanted through 2 seasons. We took him in 2024. He really served probably as like the number 3 receiver in 2024 on a really productive offense behind 2 really good receivers. And bided his time, was patient, was worked through some things. This season, I don't think when I talk about 2025, probably didn't start the way that he wanted it to. He didn't give up. He kept pushing. He kept working, and really caught fire there in the midpoint of the season. So it really going to be leaning on him offensively for a big season. Can do a lot of things for us. You know, Justin Buckner's a great story. Was basically committed to a Division II school at this time last year. And we had kind of had our eye on him and kept our thumb on him, and we're always really impressed with him, and kind of came in at the 11th hour and offered him a scholarship and got him to come play. I say in the state of Illinois, when you're a first-team All-State 7A or 8A player, man, you could probably play some football, regardless of size or speed or stature, and we certainly saw that this year with Justin. I sarcastically tell him, you know, how many times I witnessed 330-pound guards and tackles pulling for him, and he go right through their face on the field. I mean, he goes right through their chest. I mean, just a fearless football player. You can't teach that. And so, again, just proud of these 2 guys. They're both good students. And like I mentioned, man, guys that, we're trying to build it around them and do it the right way.
Well, and hopefully on this list, on these 2 sheets of paper, there are many more guys just like them. Anybody you want to highlight from the list that really people should be looking out for?
Yeah, absolutely. Well, I'll talk about some of these transfers. I mean, these young men are on campus right now. There's 25 scholarship players that we signed here at the mid-year. There's another 12 guys that decided to kind of bet on themselves and walk on here at the mid-year. And again, I just go back to the amount of work that our staff put in to sign these guys, to vet these guys, to get them academically approved, all the way from compliance to academics to certainly our on-field staff. But, it certainly starts with the quarterback. Kennedy McGill was a guy that we had our eye on really from the opening of the Division II portal in late November. Was the Lone Star Athletic Conference Offensive Player of the Year this year. He was a finalist for the Harlan Hill, which is the Division II Heisman Trophy. Was a 3-year starter at quarterback at Central Washington. They won 10 games this year. And what's unique about Kennedy, he comes from a very athletic family, just a lineage of Division I athletes, Olympic qualifying athletes. He's from the suburban Seattle area. And, statistically, certainly was a threat with his arm. But for any quarterback to have back-to-back 1,000-yard rush seasons,
wow,
it's pretty impressive. And so, we kind of kept our thumb on him. We recruited him very hard. He had a lot of schools flirting with him and offering him scholarships, and we were able to kind of hang on and get Kennedy here. Has been very, very impressive for us thus far. I'm going to mention some of the back end guys. We lost some corners in the portal. We had some 2 senior safeties in Malini Tia and Nick Bucaro that really solidified that back end for us, especially on the second half of the season that graduated. But very, very excited about KJ Sleets, transferred from a Division III national power at Wisconsin Whitewater. We expect him to be very, very competitive for us at the cornerback position. Chance Harrison was played a very significant role as a nickel player this year at Colorado State. Expect big things from Chance. Jovi Romulus, I think, started 10 or 11 games at safety as a third-level roof player at Wagner. Came very, very highly recommended to us. And then, sort of a couple diamond in the rough guys that we took out of Division II. Lex Sangster had almost 100 tackles this year at Cal PA. I think they won 11 games, went into the second round of the Division II playoffs. Just really an enforcer. Been very, very impressed with Lex so far. And then, E.J. Ofusu, we took from Glenville State, actually kind of cut his teeth at what's called the NFL Academy in London. He grew up in Italy. and certainly was not playing American football as his primary sport, and has adapted very quickly. Is a very athletic player, very long, So those are some positions that stand out. I don't think it was any secret. I at times last year, BJ was very disappointed with our wide receiver room as a whole. Pro Football Focus, for folks that don't know, PFF, basically nowadays allows every coach in the country to watch any clip of any team in the country at any time, from Nevada to Western Illinois to Western Carolina to Oregon to Indiana. We can see anybody that's played a snap. So it gives us a very, very significant evaluation tool on Division I players that maybe haven't played the amount of reps that we thought. So, we took a deep dive into the portal at wide receiver. We brought Quentin Rogers in here. I had a great relationship with Quentin from my time at Eastern Illinois. He was a very productive player for them at Eastern. We got him to come across the state. Jacob Kanya was a very, very highly recruited wide receiver out of Iowa Central, JUCO program. Lucas Gillen from St. Francis. Famously, over the last year, that program has decided to drop down into Division III. Excellent track times. Israel Geraldo was one of our probably highest recruited portal players, another Division II kid out of the Northeast from Post University, was a first-team all-conference wide receiver, kick returner, and punt returner. And so just kind of dumped a lot of talent into that room to go with Christian and some of our returning guys like Eric Johnson, like Cam Edwards. And the expectation it's going to be a very competitive spring in that wide receiver room. And certainly if we're going to take another step as an offense, we need that room to kind of get back to the standard of play that we expect here at Western.
Well, and I've heard coaches say before, the more competitive practices, the more enjoyable the games are, because the games are almost a break from the good competition in practice when you have that kind of depth.
I couldn't agree more. And I say this to players all the time in my office. We have core values in this program that we live by. They're called encourage, challenge, and inspire. We want this to be a program about positivity, but we want players that want to be challenged. We want players that really want to be coached out of their comfort zone. I love when a player can say, "Hey, coach, take me somewhere I can't get to on my own." And I always say it's one of the remarkable traits about NFL players. Everybody on our team wants to go to the NFL, as they should. You should live that dream. But NFL players, the great players, they want to be pushed, they want to be challenged, they want to be encouraged, they want to be coached to become the best versions of themselves every single day. And that certainly is a core value and belief amongst our coaching staff and within our program.
You're ready to go out in the field tomorrow.
Oh, man, let's go. Let's go.
You are ready.
Hey, every weather is football weather to me, BJ.
Yeah.
I mean, we're ready to play, man. You know what I'm saying? So
what does it look like this year in the league? Any ideas what the other guys are doing? I mean, you guys keep an eye on everybody.
Yeah, I mean, boy, what a unique time of college football, just going back as we talk about roster construction. You look at the OVC Big South football all-conference teams from 2025, they're gutted. I mean, they are. I mean, guys in the portal, going to different schools. And so when the dust settles here after spring football, it will be interesting to see who's back and what teams have acquired what type of talent. My 30,000-foot view on our league right now is that everybody kind of got similar guys in the portal, taking guys from lower levels that were really productive, taking guys dropping down from the FBS that maybe hadn't played as much, that we're looking to take a shot on, diving into the JUCO ranks to try to find diamonds in the rough, and then certainly trying to build the foundation of your program, with high school recruiting. It seems everyone philosophically is pretty similar, as always, and this is my position. It comes down to quarterback play, and Tennessee Tech had excellent quarterback play last year. Lindenwood, I think, had high level quarterback play last year, and so the teams that are able to develop that position, have a plan for that position, I think you'll see very significantly in the race this fall for the championship in the OVC Big South.
Well, I'm so excited. You said championship. Christian and I comes up here, I ask him, what are your goals for this year? It wasn't personal goals. It wasn't 7-5, 8-4. First word out of his mouth, championship.
Yeah. How
Championship.
about that?
That's what he said.
Yeah, how about that?
One word.
Yeah, that's awesome to hear. And while we're certainly very process-driven as a program when it comes to winning every day, certainly, as I mentioned in the first segment being very weight room focused right now. Listen, the first slide that goes up in our meetings is our end goal, and that's to win the OVC Big South Championship. And everything that we do within our process is driven by that end goal. Championship standards in the weight room, championship standards in the classroom, championship standards on the practice field. And really, BJ, the step that we've taken this offseason is to try to have championship standards when it comes to connection.
Right.
How do you bring 39 new players together? How do you incorporate 20-some freshmen this summer into this team and integrate potentially 60 new guys in time for the season? I think every coach in the country would tell you we're searching for that. What is the secret sauce to that? And so really challenging the players to have an intentionality about connecting with each other, connecting through our family dinners, connecting through team functions, connecting through community service that I mentioned earlier. And our hope and prayer is certainly that connection will make the football part a little bit easier when it comes time to execute in those big moments.
Well, and those people watching, fans, you can be a part of this program too. And Joe's got a very cool thing happening starting right away, right?
Yeah, well, we've got some great announcements, man. And I tell you, I'm excited finally, through the work of a lot of diligent people at Western, man, we're going to have a new playing surface at Hanson Field this year. I mean, that has been approved by the Board of Trustees and certainly with our Vice President, Justin Shue, to Christy Mindrup, our Dr. Mindrup, our President, to Paul Bubb, the Athletic Director, diligently working on this process to put, new sprint turf in that stadium. That'll go in sometime after spring football. I think is just going to be, certainly a welcome addition for our players. But just the visual impact, as our campus sits beautifully right in the middle there of all the buildings there, and to have the new branding and that new turf, I think is just it's special. It's a positive for us, So I'm excited about that. More importantly, this will be our third year now of kicking off a spring football fundraiser, and we've developed here at Western what we call the Player Enhancement Fund. My first spring of 2024, we set a goal of $50,000, and we raised about $75,000. It was awesome, very generous community support and alumni support, parent support. Last year, spring of 25, we set a goal of $100,000. Certainly now as name, image, and likeness and revenue sharing and Alston money has come into play very significantly at this level of Division I football, we wanted to be able to raise money to support that. We raised $105,000. And so this spring, our goal will be to raise $125,000 by kickoff of the Bruce Craddock Memorial Spring Football Game on April 25th. So Leatherneck Nation, we need your help. And now more than ever, in this ever-changing landscape of Division I football, you've heard BJ talk about it throughout tonight's show. We need your support. No dollar is too small. Certainly, no gift is too big, and that'll be our task here over the next few months is to reestablish that fundraising base. We want to raise $125,000, and again, so everybody understands, that is going to really significantly help with player retention. When we have an all-conference player here that we've recruited, when we have a young man that wants to stay at Western and he's being contacted by agents or other universities, but he loves the community, loves the campus, he loves the people, it allows me a platform to try to retain that young man. And folks, that's going to be our best shot to win here, is by recruiting these guys and keeping them here. I talked about connection, BJ. That money goes to support our weekly family dinners. It's important to me to bring our team together at least once a week and have a big meal together. We have players that get up in front of their peers and talk about their why they came to Western, what they hope to accomplish, who are the most influential people in their life. This builds connection, and it takes resources to do these things. And then the third component is certainly there are always improvements to be made aesthetically in and around Western Hall and on Hanson Field, whether it be banners or paint or a new door or a logo or a couch or a locker or whatever the case may be. This fundraising effort goes to support those items, that maybe our regular operating budget does not support. So very, very important for our program. I know there's a lot of Western supporters out there that have done very, very well for themselves, and we're calling on you. We need you right now. We need your support. We need your help. And very excited to kick this fundraiser off. Certainly we'll be promoting it through social media. There'll be a press release coming out about it tomorrow and on our webpage and all kind of links that folks can click and that type of stuff. So very, very user-friendly to donate to our football program. So excited about it. We need it. We need all the help that we can get. And I think it's important to understand and for our donors to know 100% of that money goes to football. That is not a split pot. Football sees every cent of that money and is very, very transformational for us and for the student athletes as we continue to move this program in the right direction.
All right, check it out starting tomorrow. Go to, I would assume, Facebook, Instagram, X. GoLeathernecks.com.
The whole bit.
The whole bit.
Yep. It'll be on there. Yep.
Let's get some money in here. $125,000 the goal. Let's do it by the end of April before the spring game, and let's have some fun.
Amen, man. We're looking forward to it. I tell you what, just again, on behalf of our whole staff, our student athletes, man, we're grateful. We're appreciative of this community, this alumni base, this university, and make no mistake about it, we're looking to make 2026 the best year yet.
Go Next. Let's do it. That is it for us tonight from the Sports Corner in downtown Macomb. Thanks to Joe Davis, Josh Caraway, Christian Anaya, and Justin Buckner, and all the staff that put on this event here tonight from the Campus TV station, the broadcasting department. We appreciate all of you, and we thank you all for watching our spring signing special. Oh, it's special too. Looking forward to football soon. I'm BJ Stone. Thanks for watching tonight. Good night.